Okay, hey everybody, this is Grace. In this video, I'm going to talk about if you've been watching my little saga about Adam and his family. You know, Adam, I met and married over 40 years ago. He's older than I, and he has a family. I'm telling you, and when he's around them, it has anything to do with them. Oh my goodness, it's like in some ways, it's like difference of night and day. And I've been talking all about him recently. You know, it all kind of started off, and I didn't have any clue that what was going to follow. That I had noticed that, I guess it was a couple of weeks ago, I had noticed he was acting odd. And then it dawned on, as time went by, saying, yeah, it must be something with his family, because that's when he starts acting that odd. And it just went on and on. Basically, yet another one of his family members, his older brother this time, invited himself over for a vacation. And on Adam's dime, they went to see all the other people in Texas that is in their family. Yeah. Now, in all of this, I've been talking about how self-centered they are. How they're not taking into consideration other people, like the wives or significant other, girlfriends, whatever they want to call themselves, and like me, okay, they're not taking in consideration anybody outside of themselves and their family. They've always had this kind of, this collective narcissism, this with their family, like they're the best and they're the most important, and on and on and on. I mean, I've done videos now. I'm going to skip and say, if you want to watch all that, I have the videos up. I have one more thing to put up. But now, they, with his brother coming here and all this, they had decided someday, when was it? My goodness, last week, that they were, he and his brother, I did not want to go. I have edema, my legs swelling and all this. They were going to go see them, then they're going to do the road trips, and like the first leg of it is with the, like you stop once or twice or whatever. It's probably about 5.5 hours, 6 hours, and then the next trip, the next day they left to go to the other family, and that was about the same length of time, and it's about equidistance, and then they're going to do the same thing backwards to come back. And so they left, and then the next day I wound up going to physical therapy, and the physical therapist said, you are very swollen. She had to do an evaluation, a month evaluation, and it was on my legs, and she said, your legs are really swollen. She said, you need to contact your doctor. So I did, and the doctor didn't answer, and when I was there, had so much shortness of breath, it was unbelievable. Just trying to get in, and there was a nurse in the hallway, and she said, "Ma'am, are you okay?" I said, "Yeah, I'm in physical therapy." And she said, "Ma'am, no, really, are you okay? You need to take it slow." Because I was breathing heavy, I was shortness of breath, and I'd had experienced that here and there. And I've been having problems going back. Let's see, end of April, early May, will be 2 years. And this is March. And 2 years. I've been having problems, especially with being swollen and all this stuff. Is, my stomach, so many different problems. I've been to the ER with in 2023, 2024, even admitted for 24 hours. Nobody was doing anything about it. Okay, so all this time, so much. So when Adam and them left, I had been thinking, it would be nice to be myself. I haven't had a vacation away from him and all that, and I hadn't had a vacation away from the dogs and everything. And this had been going on for almost 2 years, like I've said. And no solution, nobody saying anything that it's this, that, or the other. 100%, some say they hint, say, well, maybe, or, this, on and on. So Adam left, Adam and his brother, I'm home alone. And we, figured I would be for about a week. Well, they had said, of course, not that long, but they never go just one night to some place. No, they're going to milk it. So that's how that family is. They invite themselves over, call at the last moment, saying this is what's going to happen. They're not asking, that they're making decisions for people, on and on. So anyway, I was thankful, and I tell you the truth, I liked being at home alone. I don't like anybody being around me when I'm not well. I don't, especially like Adam. He gets bossy. No, I am a 61-year-old woman. You don't need to tell me how to live. Okay, but I'm going to say something in a minute, maybe, about that. Okay, so all this has been going on. They've been gone. So they left in the morning that day, one day last week. And the next day is when I went to physical therapy. The doctor didn't call back, so I I'd already decided before I even went to physical therapy, even that day that Adam left, I was going to go see to an urgent care in the system. And they have their own urgent cares, and I guess every place has that kind of thing. And every system, I guess they call them. I don't know what they call them. But so, anyway, a lot of stuff going on. And I went to it. I went home, ate, fell asleep, woke up, made an appointment. Not an appointment, but called them, went there. I was just walking in from my SUV around the corner I parked up against one of the walls of the place, went in, was so out of breath, and basically the nurse, I don't know if she was a nurse or the MA, she said, no, we're not going to see you here, you're going to go directly to the hospital. She was not, she wasn't being sarcastic, wasn't being mean. She said, you need to go directly to the hospital. Hospital put me on Lasix. And although he didn't say congestive, the doctor there said he knows exactly what it is. He said, and this is a really harsh term, so don't take it that harsh, because he basically was letting me know this is early. This is the early warning sign or something like that. And that, he said, you're not going to die right away. Anything. He was really nice and letting me know, don't get too freaked out just yet. I mean, it's going to have to, there's time that it takes. But basically, because for one thing, I smoked cigarettes, big chunk of my life, he said he didn't say congestive, he said it was heart failure. The beginning, and, like I said, he went through all that. Don't worry, don't get freaked out about it, but you're going to see a cardiologist, and then they're going to go, and on and on and on. And the only person I remember having that was my dad, and that was back in the 1990s. Okay, 1990s. Things have definitely changed since then, because then I think they keep you, in the hospital for, I don't know, but like that doctor said, he said, no, I don't think you're gonna you have to stay here. He said, I don't think you're gonna have to stay. Like he was telling me, it's just the body's saying, no, you've got to watch this, you got to do this. But the cause of it is that. And he explained to me, the cause is this, not my eating, whatever I eat or anything like that. But I do need, they've already had me on low sodium diet. And now just to have to pay attention to more, like even today, I looked and see how much a hamburger local here said that had sodium count. It was almost almost twice that needed for one day. I mean, right at twice. It just said it's double of what a person needs a day. And one of the things they were blaming it on was pickles, ketchup, and mayonnaise. Really, that much? Because when they took all that off, it went down to like as if this is down much. I mean, it is down much, but 50% of what you need a day. That was double. The other one was 200%. You know what I'm saying. So, okay, now I still haven't gotten to what I wanted to talk about in this video. So all this stuff going on, you know, like I said, it was the next day. Then they sent me home. They left me there for like an hour or hour and a half after they gave me the Lasix, and explained how it works and all this stuff. Very different than I've ever heard. I did not have any clue that's how it works. And I'm on it for maybe forever now. I take a pill every day. I've only taken, I take a pill every day along with another supplement. And I'm not going to mention which one, but you know, each person's it's their different thing. You know, it's up to their doctors, not me. I'm definitely not anybody in healthcare, and no voice of authority on any of it. But anyway, they sent me home. I drove myself home. They knew I was driving myself home, all that. But basically, I had been having a really hard problem trying to sleep, very uncomfortable trying to sleep, trying to walk, anything, you know. And it had gotten worse after Adam and his brother left, leaving me home alone. You know, it just got really bad. And so basically, once I had that Lasix at the hospital, and I left the hospital, like a couple of, altogether, I was probably there about 2.5 hours altogether, between the check-in and all that. And yeah, I'd say that, about 2.5 hours. And when I, drove they said, you okay to drive home? Yeah, okay. So I drove myself home, and it wasn't near, but I drove myself home, and the nurse there, she said, no, it shouldn't be any problem for you to drive yourself home. But I think at that point, I was in a little bit of a shock, I hadn't had the chance to really process all of it, because when my dad had it, I remember thinking it was so, it was like something, like the end of his life. Okay. I think it was in I could be wrong. It might have been in the 1980s. Late 1980s. Yeah, something like that. But anyway, yeah, it would have had to be in the 1980s. Or early 1990s. But anyway, it was different back then. The way people talked about it. And now, everything that they were saying, it was like, for me, at my stage in it, it's not as, bad as what it was for my dad when he was, I think, my age back then. Anyway, like the physical therapist, she had told me, she said, they treat you with medication nowadays. And I said, really? She said, yeah, medication. You go home, they treat you with medication. And that's what they did. So anyway, still haven't gotten to where I wanted to talk about. And so anyway, I went home that night, and I hadn't been able to sleep much at all, because that's part of it. That's a symptom of it. Like she had recognized, she says, your symptoms sounded a lot like congestive heart failure. She goes, I can't diagnose you. So you need to talk to your doctor. And they didn't call back, like I said. And anyway, so I went home, and basically from that, it was like instant relief. I could sleep, I could lay down, I could walk, no problem, nothing. It was like, wow, man. They give me that Lasix while there. That's how it worked on me, just like, wow. And so, what did I do? What have I done since then? Mainly sleep. Seriously, mainly sleep. I have not been able to sleep right for, Adam and I both couldn't remember how long. I said, a month or more? He said, I don't even remember. He said, it was a long time. I wasn't able to sleep right, and I would have to get up and just stand there next to the bed sometimes, because it was too uncomfortable for me to lay down on I can't lay down on my back, but or stomach, I never do that. Just too hurt too much just to lay down. So, on my sides, on either one of them, it was just like I was gonna die, suffocate, that kind of thing. So anyway, since then I've been sleeping, and I do feel like some of it, I have a little problem every once in a while of laying down because I don't know because why, but I do feel it every once in a while. So anyway, still not there what I wanted to talk about. And you know what that is? That is me today. I called Adam to tell him, I need to go take a shower, and I've done this before, this is what we would do. And I said, I'm going to take a shower, and then I'll call you back when I get finished, because before then, twice, I had to call Adam into the room where, the master bedroom. I was in the master bathroom taking a shower, and when I got out, I couldn't completely focus, like both times he helped me dry my hair. And the first time I was wrapped in a blanket, I wrapped myself in a blanket and a towel and a blanket. And the next time I was able to actually put my shirt on and my underwear on, but that's as far as I could get. And he came in and helped me. That was before he left, before his brother even got there. And I think his brother was with us for like 3 days. He got there 3 days before they left, I think. And then he's going to be here 3 days after they get back, 3 or 4 days. But anyway, so still haven't gotten to where I want to talk about. And then basically, let me get to it now. Is it today I called Adam to do the, say that I'm going to take a shower and all. And I said, well, what have y'all planned on doing? Because he's back at their younger brother's house. They had been to see the cousins and the aunt and all that. She's 89, all this. And they had a birthday party for the teenager and all this stuff. So they're back from there. It's like a 5.5 hour drive, or 6 hours. And they got there yesterday, stayed the night, and he said at his younger brother's, he said he was my age, few months younger than I. Well, he said, no, y'all can't go home tomorrow. You need to stay another night. And this is the cousins did the same thing. Well, that was it for me. Like I said, I have been in a state of something like shock and just sleeping all the time, not really processing everything. And he said that, his younger brother said that they should stay another night and leave the next day. And I said, is anybody thinking about me? And Adam kind of chuckled a little bit. He said, yeah, everybody's thinking, oh, you're home by yourself. And, they're saying, well, we're her sisters. Her sisters? My sisters? What the crap? Seriously. And they ask him, they say, oh, is she there by herself? What about her sisters? She needs to have somebody there with her. Well, who would that be? That would be Adam. Okay? Seriously, if he were ill, you think I'd tell him, I'm going to go on vacation? Well, like I said, he had already left. And I'd had this for over almost 2 years. So there was anything in sight that I was going to have this as this is a result. There is, but none of the doctors were seeing it that way. All those I was in the hospital 3 times in 2023, the ER. I was in twice, I think, or more than twice in last year. And then this year, finally one of them had a clue. And all the ones that people I've seen said, other than that, nobody has a clue? Really? Okay, and just for the record, I had a clue. I figured this was what it was. So did my physical therapist, okay? Oh my gosh. Anyway, so I said that to Adam about, is anybody thinking about me? And finally, I was capable of saying something like that. Because I really think I was hadn't been able to process it, sleeping too much. Too much. I'm catching up on sleep. Just so tired. And plus the whole thing all around. And being in a little shock. So anyway, his family, each one of them said, we're her sisters. This is how they see things. They really do. They see that their family, their biological family, their family of origin, is the family. The wives and anybody you have your own family. That is how they see things, seriously. Anyway, and it's not up to them. Okay. So anyway, he said that, they, that they would say, well, somebody should be home with her. And then they'd say, well, yeah, vacations are kind of rare. So why don't you go ahead and stay another night? I'm like, they're concerned about me. You're saying they're concerned about me? Yet they're telling you, so go ahead and stay another night? No. He was, I think he was in shock. Because all this time I've been, like I said, I've been in that state of mind. That I was just so tired. I was so sleepy. And I wasn't able to process everything. And really, I was just more like listening to him when he would tell me what they were doing and stuff like that. Although last night we got into an argument and I was not. He hung up on me. So I told him, I said, don't you dare tell me what to do. And it wasn't that. It was that he was trying to tell me about diet. And that doctor, I specifically asked him more than once. And he said, listen to me. He did it. He's a real nice doctor, really nice, really, really nice doctor. He said, listen to me. Because I did it on purpose. Because I know how Adam is. He's going to say, well, it's your diet. No, Adam, it's your diet. Okay, the way Adam eats is his diet. Not mine, his. Although I can say, since Adam's been gone, my diet has not been that good because I'm by myself. And I don't want to cook, being not sure of the medication. It's got all these, the 2 different medications have these warnings because I'm taking another diuretic with a blood pressure medication, and they don't know how I'm going to respond. I could get dizzy, lightheaded. I could faint. Do you think I should be cooking by myself, cooking stuff on the stovetop when I'm by myself in that situation? I don't either. So I had to go and get something to eat. I did have some groceries delivered, but it's nothing I can cook. I did manage to get some chicken in the oven, and I'm so totally burnt out on chicken. But I ate a little bit yesterday and a little bit just early before I started making this video for lunch. And but the rest of the stuff has sodium in it. And then I looked at, if I wanted to go get myself a hamburger, I was like, oh my gosh. And I had gone the other day to get some Long John Silver's, and oh my goodness, the sodium count. I didn't check it until later that night. Whoa. Just a hush puppy. Okay, so anyway, eating out, I already knew that, but I really hadn't checked that deeply. Some of them I have, like anything I eat at home that has the label on it, I check it all out. I'll check some of these restaurants out. I've checked them out. Sodiums, carbohydrates, on and on. Over many years, many decades, I've been one to, I think, check the labels since they became a thing they had to do, had to give nutrition facts. But for some reason today, I looked up these hamburgers and I was like, what the crap, like I said earlier. I could not believe it. Wow. So anyway. So yeah, now I mentioned that about, pointing out to Adam, nobody's concerned about me. I had been saying things all the while, saying, that not like that. But I would say things to him like, like I said, I was real sleepy and hadn't processed, and I'd say, yeah, it's good to be home by myself because nobody's telling me what to do. I told him that, and then he, like within the same phone conversation, he said, well, you need to go get your medications at the pharmacy. I said, didn't I tell you, don't tell me what to do? I'm not having that. I'm not having him talk about diet. I'm not having him tell me, do stuff like that because he has that kind of expectation that whenever he says that, oh, I'm going to get up and go do it. No, I'm going to get up and go do things when I need to, when I feel comfortable to. I can remember telling him that when I was 30. And I had been married to him like 11, 12 years. And so I'm a 30-year-old woman. You don't need to tell me what to do. And here I am, a 61-year-old woman, and he still does it. Some people say, oh, well, that's just this. No, no, no. Trust me. Trust me. Part of their culture is that of men telling women what to do. Okay? And trust me. You know, I'm not having that anymore. I haven't had it. You know, I didn't allow it myself, but they still do it. That's how they are. And even the women, they act as though the men should be doing this. No. My culture matters too, and my culture is you're full of it. No man is going to tell me what to do. No person. You know, unless, of course, it's like a judge or a police officer, you know what I mean, telling me what to do, when to do it. And you could say, oh, you're just offensive. No, it's them, period. Full stop. Anyway, but, you know, like I said, you know, I'm looking at my notes here. It says, reasons for not pushing it earlier. Like I said, the kind of shock, the not having the time to process everything. And I was sleeping most of the time. You know, I'm feeling better, but I still can feel some of it, like I said. You know, because the way they explained it to me, that doctor, that, you know, that there was other people there too, he said it kind of it was filling up my lungs and my legs. It had gotten that progressed. And man, I was sitting there on that bed, and when they were, after they walked out, and I was looking at my knees, K-N-E-E-S, but especially the right one, the knee was so swollen, and my legs aren't fat. You know, they're not fat and they're not big. And I looked at it, it was like 3 times its size. And I couldn't even see the bone, the knee bones, you know, the outline and nothing. It was just so much water retention, fluid retention. And the other one was bad, but not as bad. Okay, and the upper part of the lower legs was also swollen. And then I'm rubbing my knees now that I looked at my knee again. My knees, and said, okay. But just above the knees too were real swollen, and I had never seen it. And I think when I was sitting in that hospital bed in the ER department, I'm looking at it myself. You know, they have their own room. And I'm sitting there and looking, I think I became fixated on it. Fixated on that knee, and I took a picture, sent it to Adam. He was with his cousins and, you know, his brother and cousins and all that, and his aunt. And he showed it to them, and they're like, whoa, wow, you know, and all that. He said they were all worried about me. Well, if you're so worried, they shouldn't say, oh, you got to stay another night too. You know, you see, now my brain can think of it. But then I was just sleeping all the time. But like I say, I like the thought also that I've been by myself. But now, Adam told me, when I called him back to say I took a shower, I said, it was a rough shower this time. And it really was. I was breathing a little heavy when I was, you know, and I left the shower door open, just as I, you know, have done. Because if for some reason being in that, it's kind of like my body is panicking. Not my mind, but my body is panicking. That's the way I put it. Like my body is scared. Seriously, I mean, my degrees are in psychology and sociology. Trust me on this. I was a career student over 20 years. That this funny way that I'm putting it, that is how it feels. And it's not really my mind, it's my body. Okay, if you can't separate them, you know, but it's more like my body saying, you know, and then I have to wash my hair too, You know? So I left the door open, and that helps. It's because the steam, I think, for one, and I can't have it too cold because I had that hypothermia and what I called hypothermia, and end of December, early January, so many times. It was so awful. I don't want to ever experience such bad feeling like that again, and it was several times. No, so I'm not going to do that with a cold, you know, water either. So, but anyway, when I called him, I told him that it was really rough on me, the shower. But anyway, then he said, oh, well, I'm going to be home in a little while later on after lunch. We're leaving. You know, it's about 4.5, you know, they drove straight without stopping. It's 4.5 hours, you know, right around. So, but they're going to stop a few times probably. You know, if they're older. Like I said, I'm 61. Adam's older than I, and his brother is older than, you know, he. So, yeah. So they'll probably stop a couple times at least. And so I'm expecting them at any time, any moment. I need to change my clock in here. I hadn't changed it since time that you know, the time change. But I just looked over at it. It's 49 degrees right now, by the way, and it's been raining. Yeah, they were supposed to leave tomorrow. It might have been good if they did leave tomorrow instead because of the slick roads and everything, but hopefully everything's okay with him. You know, he made that decision. He said he told his brother, that younger brother, I told him that, you know, that I wasn't feeling well, and he said, well, I understand, yeah. He said, so he's got to go home. I think Adam just wanted to go home because he'd already told his brother that, and his brother said, no, stay another night. Y'all got to stay another night. Yeah, they're really worried about me. You know, just like the cousins, like I said earlier. Yeah. Just stay another night. I'm telling you, these people. Anyway, this is really long. I'm going to wrap it up. Talk to y'all in another video. Bye.